I run a treatment center for people that struggle with mental health and addictions. After I battled with my own addictions growing up and all that stuff. And, I always was this, growing up, I had this like victim mentality of like who I was and like poor me and all these things were bad that were happening to me. And then of course addiction happened and it just ruined my life and brought me down some really dark roads. And I think about it as the greatest thing that ever happened to me today.
Yeah.
And I did not know then that, God had some kind of plan for me, that I was going to go through all that stuff so I could be of service later. And that was like the breaking down of, my ego, my mind, my beliefs, and all these different things, and just showing me that side of things so I could be launched into this like new way of living. And through that journey, I've had a lot of powerful experiences. Early on, I've had like God experiences that just completely revolutionized my way of thinking, my belief systems, and changed me from the inside out, to the point that it was not only noticeable to myself, but other people noticed it as well pretty quickly.
Mhm.
And I've been blessed with 8 years of working with people that are struggling with addictions and mental health, from all ages, from kids all the way to seniors, and just
Yeah.
helping people. And the main thing that I see now is like I can help people wake up, right?
So now you have a spiritual name, um, Nagadas. And so can you talk about what that means?
It's something that I'm still learning how to explore. I'm still exploring the name, learning
Mhm.
about like the Nagas and the Naga yogis. And what it means to me though is what you asked is, I'm learning how to be empty, right? I'm learning how to be empty, empty my mind more, empty, the imperfections, and trying to learn how to, just be a channel of flow, right? Because the more I get in the way, it's like a rock in a river, right?
Mhm.
I want to get out. I want to get the rocks out of there, and the more that I can do that, I can start to live my life in a, more of a meditative state, which I find is interesting. And
Yeah.
it's right there. I can grasp it and I feel it. I'm in that space. And then all of a sudden the mind attaches to something, or, something else. But
Yeah.
that's okay. Emotions come up, anger comes up, and it's another opportunity to grow and to become more empty. And I think,
Yes. And so what does Nagadas actually mean?
so yeah, servant to, so it could be a couple different things.
Yeah.
When I was given the name though, one of its representations is the Naga is the serpent, or the Kundalini energy, or the Nagas are also the protectors of the gods. So like Shiva has a Naga around his neck that protects him. So in a lot of ways, I'm servant to that, the protector of the gods. I'm service to the Kundalini energy, which is the energy of transformation, which is perfect for me. Um, and
Yes.
and and then also the shedding of the ego, right? So that's literally what it was meant to me, what it was explained to me, and I couldn't
Beautiful.
agree more with that. Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you so much for that. That's powerful. Is there anything about it that you feel like you can share?
It's interesting too, because like I I always feel weird when people are talking about being an enlightened being and all this stuff, and it's just funny because I don't recognize that, like I'm just on a mission, right?
Yeah.
Like so it's a little foreign of a topic or a thought for me,
Yeah.
but it is powerful because like I know some of the experiences that I have are kind of unique or different, or or um and that's always like a battle, because sometimes it feels lonely. I will say that, like it does feel a little lonely because a lot of people don't understand, and then you got to be careful of who you talk to with it, and
Right.
say that, like, that the whole experience was such a powerful experience. My body was becoming, charged with anticipation before I even got there, which I found very interesting. And my third eye was opening, and and like I'll have these like visual experiences, and like I'll feel so much light and grace and stuff like that quite often. And I've had enough powerful experiences that I'm really open to the mystical and the wild. Like I really am. Like I know it's real as anything else. So like I just remember going in there and my third eye just being so open. Like I could see like and it's kind of interesting because like what will happen is like when I'm seeing through it, it's like this like green ball, like greenish, like
Mm.
white lightish ball of energy ahead of me. And like that was the first thing that I was noticing, and I was feeling my kundalini rise up my spine. And so like I was having this like experience of feeling it, and I was starting to see it. And you know, things were just like awakening in me. And I just found that so interesting um prior to even like being there. Like my body and my spirit knew what I was walking into before I walked into it, right?
That's
And so
awesome.
it started waking up on its own. And I think that's why it's like when you're open for it, you're the spiritual teacher, the person's going to appear in your life at the right time. And your mind, I mean, your spirit, your higher self already knows. Like it already knows. But so with that being said, like, I mean, I've never had that kind of experience. It was such a profound thing that was happening because I mean, I'll have like visualizations, and a lot of times my eyes are open. So, you know, like when I'm in my third eye like that, having like those visions, it was very interesting. But I would talk about the feeling part
Okay.
um, first. So for me, it was just such a just a powerful thing because I've done Reiki, and a lot of times I feel like my energy is like a little bit more intense than theirs, and they don't
Yeah.
know how to handle it, and I could tell that they feel a little uncomfortable, and I don't feel anything with them. So
Yeah.
I was like, oh, you know, what is this going to be like, right? I mean, is this going to be just another one of those scenarios? And it wasn't. It was so powerful. You know, I know, and how fast I was able to drop in. You know, I was just like, holy crap, like like because
Yeah.
I know we got into like the breathing and then the meditative state, and then you synced up with me, and then just like it started happening, like the vision started happening first, but I started feeling all these like electric shocks like going through my entire body, like in like these like blissful tingles. And I'll feel that when I'm doing like a certain kind of meditation or my kundalini is rising, I'll feel that same kind of energy, I guess. I don't know if it's going through like the nadis and the channels, and feeling it roll through my autonomic nervous system. But it was like I was feeling it going up and down, and it had a big focus on my left side, which is like the feminine side, which is
Yeah.
something that I always need to work on because like I could slide into that like toxic masculinity if I'm not careful with the arrogance and the ego. And if I'm not checking my ego, that's a place that I slide. So it's like I do a lot of feminine work, of learning how to balance that because I'm naturally one side. So it was interesting that I was feeling it on that side. And then it was just wild when I started having the visualizations, and I know we were doing some like some past life regression type stuff. And I've always wanted to do that, and I really didn't know that was what I was walking into. And
Mhm.
so it really helped to go in that space just not knowing, and then
Yeah.
it happening, right?
Yeah.
And I know I had some powerful visions of, you know, being a light warrior, or I know that was one of them. And where, you know, it was just so powerful. And but one of the most powerful things that stands out about the entire vision was
Mhm.
when we had a moment where I had a vision of I guess what was Mother Earth at the time, or the mother energy, and it showed up as a flower, and it was a yellow flower, and I could still see it vivid as today, and it had like a feminine feature to the face.
Yeah.
And I remember just feeling from the top of my crown chakra all the way down my body, just filling up like a tank with this like yellowish, like gold yellow energy, like, and it was filling my entire body, and my temperature was changing, and it was just so powerful. And then we invited the father in, and it was like a cooler energy kind of came in, slid
Yeah.
in. And it was so interesting because like I remember like it just saying a message, because I've always, like, my father was never really in my life and he struggled with addiction.
Mhm.
And the voice of the father said that you don't have to worry anymore. Like, I am your father. Like, and I was just like, wow, like, whoa. So it was like, it's still hard to wrap my mind around what was happening, but I know it was just such a powerful experience. It was such a mystical experience that is undeniable. And I know that one point in time where I will say, like, some of the work that we were asking, I was asking, like, what was my beloved and who that was. And I remember the vision of the tree coming up and all the light coming out of it, and the voice saying that I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready for whoever my beloved or doer was. And I demanded it. And my whole body, like, just started to constrict. My heart chakra closed, my throat. I started having all that phlegm come up. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, and you're like, do you want to take a break? I'm like, no, we got to keep moving.
Yeah.
Um, and
Like your
then
whole body really reacted to that. Yeah.
Yeah, that was such a interesting experience for that to happen. And then I know we
Yeah.
called in the angels at that point, and I had that powerful vision of the angels and them working on my heart chakra and my throat chakra. And I remember seeing it, and it was like, even to this day, it was like I can visualize it because it was in my mind's eye, but it was above me. Like, they were working on me right then, and like I could see it and feel it and experience it. And that I've never experienced stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Like some beings from, like, like an angel being or anything like that, to that degree where they were, like, actually working on me.
Yeah,
And
it's beautiful, like, to hear you recall some of, yeah, like the images and the feelings and all that. Because I think, um, for me, because I see so much of this, so much of the soul's journey, and so it's like I know what the soul wants us to experience. So it's like the soul wants us to experience, most of all, its vastness, how we're
mm,
not trapped in these bodies, we're not even trapped in this universe for that matter, so it's and I think that's why, like, with the word enlightenment, like, it's nothing special. It's not special to be a spiritual person. It's not like we're not different, we're not better. It's not,
mm,
enlightenment isn't different or better. I think it's just literally, um in order to have just a straight up human experience, we have to take on density. And when we choose as a human being to release the dense aspects of being human, and we just get lighter and lighter and lighter, our we broaden. So it's like energetically, we actually broaden out, past everything that we experience here. And we do go off into these other realms where we have access to these other realms. And I think the only point or purpose of going to these other realms and having this access is because we have, capabilities there,
yeah.
being able to perceive very fine frequencies and being able to have these perceptions where we can, like, see through, the different layers. I think it just helps us,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah,
So it's like it was very cool for me to see that, some people's sessions are very much just about this lifetime, them connecting the dots. So it was interesting because your soul showed you a couple of things about related to this lifetime. So it wanted you to connect the dots on a couple things, but then for the most part, your soul just had you accessing all these different realms. And it,
yeah,
like, it wanted you to be up in these higher realms and having this very broad access to yourself.
yeah,
So I think having that very broad access to yourself, I think it takes longer to integrate all of that access. And I think, maybe also because, like you said, like, you're living in Georgia and you might not have a bunch of friends around you that are just living in this space.
mhm,
Um, I think that's my wish for everybody that's waking up right now and going through similar processes to what you're going through, these awakenings and being on a major mission and, like, all these things, is to at least have a few people around where you guys can create, like, a little container of, this type of, very fluid thought and
yeah,
movement, where you have, like, more access to all of these things.
yeah,
Because I think it just helps the growth. It helps, um, because the whole point of even, us getting that those visuals, it's really to embody a lot of the characteristics. So we have characteristics in these other realms, the power, the light, the conversion, like how to convert these things to light, how to help people do it, how to, you know, so I felt like for you, a lot of your power can come out through your throat chakra. And I think because you're affecting so many people, and the beautiful way that you do it, I think you have a lot of power that is going to develop, that wants to develop. And I think that was like when you had asked to see your beloved, and there was that like contraction, and the angels came in and they were like working on your throat and doing different things. I think a lot of your power is going to come from there. And that's going to be like a part of your development, would be like you really learning how to use your voice in such a powerful way that the words are just transmitting the frequency that's coming out of you.
Yeah,
And
I see that with when I'm teaching meditation. And I think I shared a little bit about that was when I was teaching the meditations, and I've done that. I did it for years and then I stopped, and then I've been doing it up at the center, and it's just crazy because like people are having experiences. They're crying. They're experiencing light. They're having every single time. It's never been a time where they weren't having like profound experiences, and I
yeah,
do too. Like I feel so connected, and like the energy is just flowing through me. And I've been told for years, like, you need to record it, you need to do this, you need to do that. Like, I guess, that's like the next level is learning how to use it in different platforms. And yeah, I think
yeah,
what I've been praying for is a way to do it in a more universal way where it's easy for people to understand.
yeah, yeah. And a lot of your power and your gifts, I feel like, come out of your eyes.
Mm.
Yeah, which is always beautiful when you see someone just transmitting like right through their face.
Yeah.
And
And I think that's my journey, is to integrate the mystical with the normal, right? Or what's supposed to be normal.
yeah,
And so I do think that, I mean, anybody that's on a journey, like I want them to all to experience this, I want them to experience something like that.
what I've noticed too is that staying open is in the heart, more so staying open, because I believe like what I've seen is that after an experience like that, it's all the guides, all of the person's guides. So like all of your guides and angels, they're the ones helping integrate you. They're
Mm,
the ones that will continue bringing in experiences. They're the ones that will help ground that. And to everything that was opened up and shown to you, it's basically an unfoldment process.
yeah.
They'll help unfold it. And it's like you basically stay open and you keep saying yes to that. When you're ready for more, you just say, yeah, I'm ready for more. I'm ready for the next integration.
Yeah. And I like that. And I will say, like, I know that you're such a powerful and good teacher that, I know you're able to control it to a degree. It seems like that you're able to, do advanced practices or some lower level practices. I definitely believe that, and I think that just goes to a testament of like your work is you are the one that's going to be able to see what that person needs. And you were able to see that with me, that I was ready for it. It was something that opened me up more to experience more and see more, which was perfectly timed. I mean, I couldn't have planned it any better. Like, you were placed right in my life, right at the right time, right when I needed it. So it's like, if anybody does find you, I think at that same time they're starting to open up, and there will be something in them telling them, hey, do it,
Yeah.
explore, try it out.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting too, like with the soul's greater journey, because I do think like there's a greater journey of the soul that starts to come through, when we really begin to be of service to
Mhm.
others. And yeah, so I think part of this integration process too, well, I also feel like for you, it's business. I feel like part of your integration process is actually business, your business development, and what you're doing on a business level, because it's tied in with your soul's mission. That
Mm,
is part of the integration.
yeah.
Um, and I know a lot of times what I was sensing from you when we spoke after your session was that you were also going to be tested with some of the things that were coming to you for business and different things that are happening in your professional, like, these
They're
tests
happening.
there. And
They're
yeah,
happening.
and like every time somebody passes a test, it's like that next thing, that's all part of unfolding this
Mhm.
greater soul's mission.
Yeah.
But it's kind of nice to have that blueprint in the beginning where when you can like feel all those energies, see, and a lot of times too, we're penetrating past the mind. So, like things in the mind look logical, they look a certain way, they look linear,
Mhm.
so yes, I believe like you're right. We need to be grounded, like our person is here. We have our person here, and we, when we really know who we are, right? Like I know who I am as my person here on earth, what my role is, and as a human being, I know what my human journey is, but then when we allow um the bigger soul's journey to come in, um, I think that's also part of the grounding where it reinforces, because in that moment you have to reinforce to yourself, I know who I am.
Yeah.
you know it's might be like two parts of us, that are coming together, that are merging.
Mm.
But I think it's no different than merging the feminine with the masculine.
Yeah.
It's just such a similar process.
Yeah. No,
And
I agree with that. I do agree with that. Yeah.
yeah, and I think the other kind of interesting thing is that any areas where we're have a weak spot, it'll bring that right up.
Mm.
So I think it has a way of like helping dissolve the weak spots. Either we dissolve it and get rid of it, or it becomes something that's going to be more positive and aid and assist us,
Yeah.
so it kind of helps.
So and what's coming to me right now is that I think, if you're in this work, and from hearing what you're just explaining, it makes me feel like my higher self will know what I'm ready to see. And it's not only what the work that you're doing, but my higher self, my spirit guides, they will only allow me what I'm ready to see. uh,
Yes.
I just felt like
Yeah.
I was supposed to share that.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. That's the one thing I always know going into a session, that I'm not guiding the session. Like this this person's higher self is going to show the person exactly what it needs to see right at that moment. Because I've tried to call things in before and they won't come in because that wasn't what the soul wanted them. I've tried to help people see connections of different relationships that they've had, and sometimes like where that will not be shown, but they're shown something else,
Mm.
that's going to more so guide them to be able to deal with the relationship at hand, or so it's really kind of creative the way everything is shown.
Yeah.
And that's why for me, like your session, I was blown away. I honestly felt like your session was awesome because it was so mystical. It was so beautiful and colorful, and like
Mhm.
all of the different aspect elements and the aspects that came in, it felt like you were just like shrouded in this beautiful cloth of like, everything from the environment to your, just like these biggest aspects of you,
Yeah.
um, coming into play, which was beautiful. But then there was also like a vulnerability, like an energy of vulnerability, which was there, um,
Hmm.
which I felt like was really beautiful.
Yeah. is
So
that is that not like a normal session? No.
no, I've got some that are, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel lucky when I get to be in those because I know that those are a little bit more the advanced work that's happening. Yeah, thank you so much for your time here today. I really appreciate it. I know that this will be really helpful for other people. And okay, everyone, thank you so much for watching.